Josh, what you finna get on this chem test?
You know how we do it in chem.
Now, being a university right now, I'm at the point in my life where I've done a lot of years of school. Now, majoring in the sciences, I not only want to focus on the particular courses that I've taken in university pertaining to science, but the ones I did in high school. Now, whether you're at the stage in your life, either in middle school, high school, university, or beyond, I sincerely hope that you've all taken at least the basic classes like math and English. Unlike our president, Playboy Cardi. Now, the first two subjects that people learn are math and English, of course, given that you come from an English-speaking country. Now, let's start off with math, a subject where the teacher teaches you how to do a coin spread on your arm and count the imaginary bread that you don't have. So the main branches of math include algebra, geometry, calculus, and statistics, all of which I've actually taken before. Let's begin with the first two topics, algebra and geometry, not to be confused with your crimson chin jaw. Geometry is the study of shapes, angles, and dimensions. One of the first few things that I learned was to differentiate a scalene, obtuse, and isosceles triangle. Now, a helpful trick that I learned to remember is that I am Asian, and therefore I make the math rules and by default have them memorized. If you selected the Asian class when you were born, if you didn't select the Asian class, math doesn't become harder, you're just on normal difficulty. Now, the next topic we have is algebra with the sole purpose of finding x, which seems to be more difficult than my actual father. Let's take the very common example, 2x is equal to 0. How would you solve this example? Of course, the first step would be to introduce your variables, so let x be the number of bits that you have. Now that we established the premises, we can then start solving. The first step would be to move 2 to the other side, so divide everything by 2. 0 divided by 2 is still 0, so therefore x is equal to 0. Remember, always write a conclusion statement, so therefore you have 0 bits. Math then ramps up very quickly, going up to statistics and calculus. Now, having taken statistics literally last semester, I can tell you that it's definitely not an easy class. Stats focuses on the notion of probability and the chance that something will happen given a certain circumstance. Let's say the probability that you find a girlfriend, given that you have not talked to no one before. Now, this is known as conditional probability, and given the initial condition that you've spoken to 0 girls, the overall probability is still 0. Now, calculus, on the other hand, teaches you the incredibly stupid way of doing derivatives with limits, even though you'll never do limits ever again. Now, the next subject that we have is English. Bro, how are you literally gonna fail the language that you speak? Pretty much the entirety of English class revolves around Shakespeare and identifying symbols and imagery and themes. Yeah, the one thing I can symbolize is that this class is completely useless. Now, next we have the sciences, the big three ruining my life right now: chemistry, biology, and physics. Now, what I remember my first year of bio in university was the prof yapping about some Galapagos finches and how they evolve into some random creature like a god Pokemon. But to be fair, biology, in my opinion, is the least difficult among the three sciences, as chemistry absolutely tore me apart in my first year. So picture this is me whistling, minding my own business, enjoying my day, and then chemistry comes along and says,
"Oh no!"
Now, physics wasn't any better. Those physics profs are pure evil. They lure you in with, the simple kinematic equations. Aren't they cute? Nope. Unit 1 is, what is a vector? Next thing you know, you're hit with some next math equation that doesn't even include numbers anymore. Now, I somehow survived the first year of uni, but that's not without the help of this national hero, my good friend. I'm proud to present this award to the organic chemistry tutor. Now, next we have the subjects that aren't the main ones, but here's a brief overview. History. So I'm Canadian, so basically all we talked about was the RCMP riding horses. Now, for those Americans, please note that the American history isn't the world history. So guys, please make a note of that. Now, next up we have geography, and much like before, Canada is a barren frozen wasteland, so our geography is 100% ice, 100% of the time. don't listen to anyone else. Social studies, no one knows what this is. French, I actually made a whole video on why the French language should be extinct, so go check that out. Music, I played the clarinet in my band and I wasn't very good at it. A very noisy class, but also very fun. Phys ed, now contrary to popular belief, the best part of phys ed was the beep test, because I was that singular kid running after 10 hours. Art, apparently drawing a stick figure and then dabbing it with a tissue is considered art. I got an A-. Next up we have technology, which is a class in my middle school but is now extinct. Now lastly we have drama, a class where the extroverted kids go out and look stupid. I unfortunately was one of them, minus the extroverted part, and I did drama for 8 years. Now here are the subjects I did in university with a brief overview. Psychology. It's a very enjoyable class. You learn how the mind works and the way people perceive things. I learned much more useful things in this class than any other, such as gaslighting. Now sociology, a complete load of yap in my opinion, and this class is very based, so take this class with a grain of salt. If you go with whatever society says, you should be fine. Next up we have the Eng and Comp Sci classes. Although I have not taken these classes before, I've heard that you just need to pass to be considered successful. And finally, Enviro-Sci, one of the only classes that the prerequisite is learning photosynthesis and is enough to warrant you a pass in the class.